Writing the research design of a thesis involves explaining the overall plan and strategy you'll use to answer your research questions or test your hypotheses. It's like a blueprint that guides how you'll collect, analyze, and interpret data. A good research design ensures your study is well organized, reliable, and valid. To start, you need to decide if your study is qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods. For example, if your thesis aims to explore personal experiences or opinions, a qualitative design may be appropriate. If you want to measure variables and analyze numerical data, a quantitative design works better. Mixed method designs combine both approaches, such as using surveys for quantitative data and interviews for qualitative insights. Next, describe the type of research. If your study focuses on understanding relationships between variables, it might be correlational. For example, this study uses a correlational design to examine the relationship between social media usage and academic performance. If your study tests cause and effect relationships, it might be experimental. For instance, this study uses an experimental design to test the impact of a mindfulness program on stress reduction. If you aim to describe characteristics or behaviors, a descriptive design is suitable, such as this study uses a descriptive design to analyze the reading habits of high school students. You also need to explain how you'll collect data. For instance, you might use surveys, interviews, observations, or experiments. For example, data will be collected using a structured questionnaire distributed to 300 university students to measure their social media usage and academic performance. If you're conducting interviews, you could write, semi-structured interviews will be conducted with 20 participants to explore their experiences with online learning. The sampling method is another important part of the research design. Explain how you'll select participants. For example, participants will be selected using random sampling to ensure fairness and representativeness. If you're using non-probability sampling, you might say convenience sampling will be used to recruit participants who are readily available. Finally, include how you'll analyze the data. For quantitative studies, you might use statistical techniques such as data will be analyzed using correlation tests to determine the relationship between variables. For qualitative studies, you might write, interview transcripts will be analyzed using thematic analysis to identify key patterns and themes. For example, if your thesis is about the impact of exercise on mental health, your research design might look like this. This study uses a quantitative correlational design to examine the relationship between exercise and mental health. Data will be collected using a survey that measures hours of exercise per week and mental health levels using the Depression Anxiety Stress Scale, DSS. Participants will be selected through convenience sampling, and the data will be analyzed using Pearson's correlation test to determine the strength of the relationship. By clearly explaining the type of study, data collection methods, sampling, and analysis, your research design provides a clear roadmap for your thesis and ensures others can understand and replicate your work.